Hello Internet! I am RD Lady, and in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to extract 3D models from Android games. This tutorial is split in two parts. In this video I'm gonna show a very easy example of model extraction, where the model is not split in many parts, it's just in one piece and it's easy to import to 3ds Max or to any other modeling software. In the next video, in the next part of this tutorial, I'm gonna show a much more complex example, where our model of interest to be extracted is split in many parts. So I'm gonna teach you a method to import all the parts of this model at once and then assemble this model after the extraction. So let's start with a simple example in this video, and then if you follow all these steps and you still have problems to extract your models because they are composite models split into many parts, then please check the part 2 of this tutorial that might be helpful for you. For performing the extraction of 3D models from games and apps from Android, we first need a method to emulate the Android system in our computer. And for doing this, we're gonna use the Nox App Player. So let's download and install Nox App Player. After downloading the Nox Player installer, we just have to run the installer and then click in Install. After the installation, we just have to click in Start, and this will make the Nox Player to be loaded for the first time. If the loading process gets stuck at 98 or 99% of loading and it ends up never starting, you can solve this problem by going into your BIOS setup and by enabling the virtualization in your BIOS configuration. Each main board has a different BIOS configuration interface. So if you want to enable virtualization in your BIOS, you should follow the steps indicated in your main board manual. After running Nox App Player, the first thing we have to do is to enable graphical acceleration through DirectX. For doing this, we gotta go to the configuration menu, and then here we click in the Advanced tab, and then we click here in this button called Speed DirectX. After doing this configuration change, we have to click here in Save Changes, and then we have to restart the Nox App Player. Now we can start to install any games of interest, any games from which we want to extract the 3D models. The Nox App Player is a very accurate simulation of an Android system. So we're gonna use the Google Play application to install games exactly the same way as you do in your own Android smartphone. The first time that we run the Google Play application, it's gonna ask for a Google account information. In my case, I just created a new Gmail address, so I'm gonna input here my Gmail address and my password. I'm gonna show a game that has models that are very easy to extract. All models are extracted and saved in one piece, so it's easy to import to 3ds Max or any other 3D modeling software. For this first simple example, I'm gonna be installing the game Jurassic World. And for the second example, I'm gonna install a game that has models that are very difficult to import. These models will be split into many parts when we extract and import them. So these models will need a lot of post-processing in order to be imported to any 3D modeling program. For this more complicated example, I'm gonna be installing the game Asphalt 8. Now that we have installed and updated our games, let's download a tool named Ninja Reaper. This program will be used to extract the 3D models from our Android games. After we downloaded Ninja Reaper, we have to extract the downloaded file using a decompressor program. In my case, I will use the 7-zip to extract the Ninja Reaper files. I'll leave a link to the download of 7-zip here in the description of this video. So now let's run Ninja Reaper, and here in the configuration, the first thing we have to do is to select which program we want to extract the 3D models from. So Nox will be inside our local disk, inside the program files x86 folder, and here in the Nox folder, and here in the bin subfolder, we're gonna find and select the program executable called nox.exe. And here we have to select in which directory our extracted models will be saved. In my case, I will save the extracted models inside the Ninja Reaper folder that I have just created inside my Documents folder. And here comes the most important part. Here we have to select which extraction method will be used to extract the 3D models. In the case of Nox App Player, the only method that works is the intruder inject method. So if we don't select the intruder inject method, Ninja Reaper will not be able to extract the models from games that are running in the Nox App Player. And here in Settings, we have to select which shortcut keys we're gonna use to extract the textures and the 3D models. In my case, I'm gonna use F3 to extract the textures and F10 to do the forced model extraction. The normal model extraction will not work with Ninja Reaper and Nox. So I'm gonna use directly the keys F3 and F10 to do the extraction of the textures and the forced extraction of the 3D models. After that, we just have to click in Run to execute Nox through Ninja Reaper. Now I'm gonna run the Jurassic World game, and I'm gonna skip to a point in the game where is my model of interest, the model that I want to extract. Once I reach a scene in the game where is the model that I want to extract, I will just press once F3 to extract the textures, and then I'll press F10 to extract the models using the forced extraction method. The game might freeze a little bit every time you press an extraction key, but you just have to wait a little bit and it should work. Now that we performed the extractions, let's close Nox. And let's go to that output folder that we have selected to save all the extracted models. And let's check if the extraction worked. If the extraction worked, you're gonna see many folders inside the output folder. Some folders will be empty or they will just have a log file. But the folder that has the name nox.exe should have the exported texture files in DDS format and the exported model files in RIP format. Now let's repeat exactly the same process for doing the extraction of the models from the game Asphalt 8. These models are the most complicated example that I will show how to process in the next video. are the new extracted model files in RIP format and the new extracted textures in DDS format. Now we have to convert all these model files in RIP format to FBX format, which is a format that is accepted by most of the 3D modeling programs. And for converting these files from RIP to FBX format, we're gonna use a tool named Noesis. So let's download and run Noesis. Before running Noesis, we gotta go back to the Ninja Reaper folder and we gotta copy a Noesis plugin that is inside the Ninja Reaper folder and put this plugin inside the plugin folder of Noesis. If we don't perform this step, Noesis will not be able to read RIP files. Now let's run Noesis and let's browse to the folder where are the RIP files that we have extracted with Ninja Reaper, and let's start to open these files until we find a model that we want to extract. So let's say I want to export this Triceratops. To export this model, let's go to the menu File and then let's click in Export. And here as output type, I'm gonna select the FBX format. As output file, I will leave the default option, which will save an FBX file in the same folder where is the RIP file. And now we just have to click in Export. Now let's run 3ds Max or any other 3D modeling software that supports files in FBX format. And let's import the FBX file that we have just generated with Noesis. The FBX file should be in the same place where are the RIP files. So here let's go in File and then let's click in Import. And let's select the FBX file that we have just generated. And here in the import options, let's disable the lights and the global ambient color option. And here is our 3D model extracted from an Android game. Now let's try to render this 3D model. To render an image from this 3D model, we just have to go to the rendering menu and then we have to click in Render Setup. Here are many options that you can customize, but for now I'll just change the resolution of the image that will be rendered from our model. If you have this problem when you render your 3D model, if the surface of the model looks transparent like that, you can solve this problem by selecting your 3D model, going to the material editor, and then clicking in this button to select the texture that belongs to this 3D model. And here in the options of this texture, you just have to enable the two-sided option. You can also play with other options like specular level or glossiness to make the texture of your 3D model look more realistic. Now let's try to render our 3D model again. And this is the final result after we extracted a 3D model from an Android game. If you have problems to extract more complex models that are split into different parts, please don't forget to check the part 2 of this tutorial, where I'm gonna show how to perform a more advanced post-processing in these extracted 3D models. If you like this video, don't forget to give a like and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to receive new tutorials. You can also contact me through social media on Twitter and Facebook. See you next time. Bye bye.